early 90s. So yeah, and actually it was due to things happening in China that my family was able to get the chance to immigrate to Canada, actually. And I'll correct you, my family moved to Canada rather than America, but it's definitely very similar. And getting that chance to come here initially was like, it's like coming into a wonderland. It's like coming into a dream, to change realities in such an intense way, to go from one reality to a completely different reality that had so much more abundance, freedoms, and ease to life, was initially just amazing as a child to experience. I only went to grade 1 in mainland China, but just from that one grade, my math skills was like already grade 4 or 5 in the West. So, just the work ethic and the model was already starkly different. So it was very interesting. It was taking like an easy breezy vacation coming into the school systems in the West, just from grade 1 grade in mainland China. But then as I started, as you get older, you start getting socialized, and then the challenges begins, in terms of realizing, coming from a culture where there was just that much less support of a person's individual like needs and views. Even as a child, like I had no sense of self. The way I look at it, I was bred to conform, to follow what everyone else was doing, to follow orders, follow authority, to be a follower, to be a worker bee, to be a little cog in the big machine. That's honestly what I believed about my existence, that I'm here to survive. And that was because in my, spending 7 years, the first, those really significant years where I'm building my core belief systems, right? And then getting to move at age 7, which is also very significant, because from age 7 onwards, we start to become self-aware and self-conscious, develop our own consciousness. So to experience that, developing all my core beliefs, and then going to a completely different reality, and then expecting myself to operate with my, core operating systems into this new reality was very challenging. And I can recognize how challenging it is for immigrants, any kind of immigrant, to move to another culture, another reality, where the rules, the social beliefs and structures are so vastly different in such nuanced, complicated ways, right? Multifaceted ways. So you don't realize as a child, especially as a child coming in, how different it is, all the expectations. And as a child, you're just doing your best to, to just fit in, to just go along with
it. Adapt. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I have to echo what you said, though, because I moved with my husband, with my children, back to Singapore when they were much younger. So the younger one was like, I think he was 3 and the older one was 6. So they started school in Singapore, but the older one has already started prep, which is you go to school here at like, a year before, grade 1. So the system was very different. He struggled because over here they spend a lot of outside time playing. In the Western society, socializing is the most important part. However, that's not the case. Singapore is no different from China. We are elitist when it comes to academic achievements. Yeah, if you can't study, you are screwed. So they push, and they push hard. So we were there for about 6 years. And when we came back, exactly what Daniel has mentioned, our boys were like way ahead in all aspects of education. So it was a breeze. So they're like, oh, this is easy. I wish we came back earlier. But they struggled both sides, because when they went back to Singapore, they didn't fit in. They are half Aussie, they are Eurasian, so half Caucasian, half Asian. So they stood out like sore thumbs. So that community couldn't accept them because you look different from us and you sound different. And when they came back, I mean, Australia is slightly more acceptable of mixed marriages, so it was easier, but there was still an expectation you have Asian blood in you, so you should be doing well in school. So that is one of the things we want to bring across to you, to know that we're still human. Don't measure why is it that the Chinese or Indians, why do they do so well in school? Because We are bred to do that way, isn't it, Daniel?
Yeah, just the
There's no
immense
way. It's only one
expectation and
path.
pressure. Yeah, really. The only path to legitimacy,
Yeah.
to like being valid, that your existence has value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly. I'm serious. It is so serious. It's not funny.
Uh,
My friends, that's how they value their lives. That my children has done well. They're like a doctor or whatever. They have failed to see that their happiness comes first. But hey, there's no judgment. Whatever makes you happy, right? So, like I said, my journey is very different from Daniel because I came to marry someone into a country, but the struggles are the same. The struggles to assimilate is the same because they would it was they think that as a child you'd be easier to assimilate, but there's so much confusion though with regards to who they are. I remember my older son when he came back, he was about 7. We were visiting, we're living in Singapore, we're visiting. He came one day, he said to me, why do I look different? Why is it that my cousins are blonde? They have blue eyes and they're blonde, but they're my cousins. But when I go back to Singapore, I don't fit in either. I just don't fit in. I don't look like anyone. So was that your experience when you moved to
I
when you moved?
realized it was so interesting, reflecting back, and how when I first came to the West, from like age 7 to 11, 12, my friends were multicolored. My best friend was a black boy and a white boy, and and it's so interesting as the age increased and socialization started increasing. I don't know how it shifted. I just naturally recognized, oh, okay, it's actually, I'm not starting to not be accepted by people that don't look like me. I started realizing the only people that would be accepting me is actually people that look like me. And I started realizing, or I decided that that was the only group
Wow.
that was open to me. Honestly, it was so interesting, right? How
Wow.
as the age increases and the socialization started, yeah. So I just started from grade uh, 9 onwards. I recognized, and when I moved school, I recognized all I was looking to do, because I knew they were the only people that was willing to accept me. All I did was try to connect with other
Actually,
Asians.
you are exactly right. How fascinating because interestingly, my children's friends in high school,
Yeah.
they are either mixed
Okay.
background or they are Asian background because they share a commonality because our cultures are so vastly different. No matter how much we assimilate, there is still something in us that is different
Yeah.
that we cannot we cannot undo. It's a default setting. It's just default. There's no other buttons to push to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We do get drawn to what is essentially in our core being.
Yeah. I will express the major effect that had on me was the pop culture of the time, right? And we're talking like late 90s, early 2000s. And back then, as I entered my mid-teen years and onwards, I raised myself on pop culture, on TV media, and I realized all the TV media, movies, everything I watched, I never saw myself in any significant roles, right? I was only watching stories mostly, if it's from the West, about, yeah, white people, right?
Yeah.
Going on their journeys, their heroes' journeys and whatnot. And so that was an important factor. The fact that I didn't see myself in the culture that I was
Mm,
enamored by, for example.
mm.
And so that had a major effect, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, this weird, whether it's a hierarchy or this thing that as we watch, we're conditioned by what we watch, and without proper representation, of course, we're going to create what I created was, oh, I don't have value because I don't see people that look like me being shown in any positions of value. So I have no
Yeah,
chance.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
were usually like portrayed as slaves or no one of like if even Jackie
Bad
Chan was in a
guys.
few
Yeah.
movies, yeah, but always a sidekick,
Yeah.
not the main character. So I absolutely appreciate that. And the fact is this is it this year? Yeah, this year that Shang-Chi came out where it's an absolute Asian cast. So go figure.
Yeah. And
It
that
took
was
us
the
that long.
powerful. Yeah, it was a powerful moment for me. I love Shang-Chi. I watched it a couple times in theaters, and it was so emotional for me, actually, in many ways.
Yep.
Finally, a main character I could actually resonate with.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was
Oh, I
great.
know my boys loved it. They loved it. So
Yes.
the purpose of all my interviews is that there is always a takeaway. So what is our takeaway today is that having heard our story and knowing how hard it is for us to, assimilate, I'm asking you to just be patient. Be patient. We're not who you think we are. We're humans. We're not that walking calculator. We're not. We're not that, and we're not. I don't know. Just before we end this, Daniel, what is something that you would like to share with
Yeah.
somebody who is, yeah,
For me, it's absolutely recognizing what I taught was love, was conditional, was transactional, was expectant. It was not real love. And that's okay because our parents didn't understand real love. Their parents didn't understand real love. So it's about each of us individual as we start to age and realize, oh, I don't know how to love myself. Because for me, my work is all about bringing people into union with themselves and with the significant others, those they love, and then with their life, with their purpose, with their joy, with their power, right? Union. And I recognize because of what I was conditioned, I was seeking my validation completely from outside, external, right? As a mainland Chinese immigrant, I needed a degree and money and success, all that stuff before I can feel valid as a living being. So that's the thing is we're just simply looking to well accept and love ourselves, right? And but depending on the culture you're from, you're taught a different model of that. So this is the way I see melting pots like Canada and the US, where you have all these different kinds of people from different being taught what love is, what value is, and we're all trying to do our best to gain that from each other: acceptance, validation, being able to be seen, intimacy. So, but the thing is, I've realized over my time, many years of supporting myself, healing myself, empowering myself, that it's about finding that love for myself with myself, right? And towards unconditional acceptance and love, and bringing myself into connection with myself, with my heart, with my soul, with my body, with my spirit, right? And that's the message. That's
yep,
what I'm trying, because we're all just doing our best to experience love, experience acceptance and beauty and creativity and connection,
yep,
right? And
absolutely.
that's the thing is, and one of the things is if I recognize when I was judging or like kind of focusing on other people, I recognize that I was projecting. So if I'm noticing something out there and it's triggering me, it's upsetting me, it's merely reflecting that disconnect within me,
Yep,
right? And that's the place to do the work, is
yep,
to support myself first and foremost, so I can show up as a me that's able to love me. And through that, then life, I can teach people, teach life and teach others that I am worthy of love because I'm willing to love myself.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
So I hope that his little monologue has given you an insight why I've picked him for the interview. Yeah, he is male, number one, Chinese descent, and we are not known to express our emotions clearly. And he is onto something. He really is. That intimacy is so powerful and acceptance. But unfortunately, the patriarchy generation doesn't know how to express love and affection, even intimacy. And this is going to change so much because with that, many doors will open. And one last thing before we go is we're asking for is acceptance. It is as simple as that. Just some space for acceptance, and that the acceptance that we are different, and the acceptance that we're all looking for connection. That's all. So no prejudgment, no stereotypes. Just see us as who we are. And so with that, thank you, Daniel, for the interview. And he will be leaving his contact details though, if you are interested to work with him, or you find that there is somebody that will benefit from his work. So please feel free to reach out to him, or if you have any questions, just leave it in the chat box. So I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Karen. Everyone. Bye.